This is going to really, really make your blood boil. Another day, another absurd migrant story. This man here, he came from Afghanistan and he lives the luxury tourist lifestyle going across to France, Germany, Italy, seeing all of the sights, wearing his expensive North Face puffer jacket and Nike Air Max shoes and whatnot before he came across on a small boat, probably got himself, well, inevitably got himself a nice hotel at the taxpayer's expense, and then raped a 15-year-old girl in this country. He has been sentenced to 9 years in prison, but it never ever should have happened. That girl would have never been raped if this man was not able to turn up on our shores after living the luxury life in Europe. I have just had enough of seeing another story like this every single day. Let's look at the details, but before we do, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Anyway, so this man, he raped a 15-year-old girl after claiming asylum, after he lived as a tourist in Europe. This is in the GB News article here. His name is Sadiq Nikzad. He is 29 and he travelled through Italy, Germany, and France before arriving on our shores. He attacked a schoolgirl. A schoolgirl, just 15 years old, just meters away from his migrant hotel. I don't know the exact map of where he was staying, but I can imagine this is probably another case of a migrant hotel being very inappropriately placed by a school. He's been put behind bars for 9 years for rape. I'm glad to hear that. Although that may be, he's sentenced to 9 years, so automatically be 4.5 years. But at least he is facing some consequences. But as I said, a lot of the time, people say when you argue with lefties about it, they say, oh, it's fine because they've been sentenced, oh, it's fine because the police have dealt with it. No, that doesn't make it fine. I'm sure the girl who was raped would rather she wasn't raped in the first place, would rather this man never arrived on our shores in the first place. Okay, yes, I am happy he has been sentenced, but I would prefer it if rapes were going down and he wasn't in this country in the first place, nor was he then in our prisons at the taxpayer's expense. He's gone from a hotel all paid for by the taxpayer to a prison all paid for by the taxpayer, and it costs 50 something grand, I think 51 grand a year to keep somebody in our prisons, by the way. The violent attack sparked protests in Scotland against asylum hotels, mirroring those seen up and down the UK. Shocking social media images show the man posing by the Eiffel Tower. We've had a look at that, and also the Cologne Cathedral. Let's take a look at that photo. So there he is. He's got his flashy Nike Air Max trainers on. He's got his North Face puffer jacket, and he is living the highlight. You know what? I'd love a nice holiday to Cologne, but very sadly, I don't really get to go on holiday because I don't have a load of spare cash flying around, and also I have to work every day. But this guy, no, he's living the high life. Easy for him, isn't it? And I'm sure when he got here to the UK, he got lots of nice trips out to the theatre, to the cinema, 50 quid a week on an Aspen card to do whatever you want. Maybe he got a trip to the bouncy castle. Who knows? Wouldn't be too bad to be him, would it? Of course, there's nothing wrong with what he did, folks, because he was from a different culture where it's okay to rape little girls. This is what his lawyer said in court. Of course, he did not win, and he has ended up behind bars, thank God. But his lawyer argued that he had not been educated about the cultural difference between the UK and Afghanistan, where child marriage is popular. I'm sorry, but you do not have a free pass to come and rape little girls in our country just because you didn't know what the cultural practice here is around consent and the age of the people that you have sex with. It's just beyond belief that people make this argument. Let's take a look before we finish at what Chris Philp has said. Chris Philp, Shadow Home Secretary, as you will know, says this is a sickening case of an illegal migrant from Afghanistan raping a 15-year-old girl and then trying to blame his appalling crime on cultural differences. It is especially galling that he travelled through multiple obvious safe countries where he could easily have claimed asylum if he needed to. Exactly, this man never needed to be in the UK, he never needed to be in a taxpayer-funded hotel, and he would not have raped that girl if we had sorted out the boats crisis in this country. Yvette Cooper, who claims she's going to halve violence against women and girls, not making much progress, is she? And Chris goes on to say men with Afghan nationality are around 20 times more likely to commit sex offences. So this case is tragically not an isolated one. No, it's not an isolated one at all. I'm fed up of when you argue with lefties on this, say, oh, you've just cherry-picked one absurd case. No, I haven't. We get one of these stories every single day now, sometimes multiple a day, and I've just about had enough of it. And mums and dads across this country have absolutely had enough of it because they are out protesting day in, day out, outside migrant hotels. I'm Chloe Dobbs. Thank you very much for watching this video. Make sure you hit subscribe down below, and also if you hit the notification bell, you'll know when I'm posting new videos, so make sure you do that. See you next time.